Well, it's January the 11th, and do an update on the situation. We're now post-election and waiting for the incoming Biden administration and all that. I guess the big news, of course, is big tech has conspired in violation of any reasonable antitrust action to put a competitor, Parler, out of business. I don't know whether it can come back or not. From what I'm hearing today, it doesn't look too good because the conspiracy has gone way beyond the companies we know about, such as Amazon and the Apple and Google. But now apparently all these other companies, which I don't know, but probably have joined in with them and pretty much have aced out any chance for an early return of Parler. So I don't know whether there will ever be a return or not, or whether they'll go bankrupt. But that's kind of, although it was really a big thing for me, of course, probably some of the people seeing this first found this channel on my postings on Parler, which I thought I was getting a fairly good following until I apparently got temporarily evicted, and then I was able to convince the jury to let me back in, and then now they've canceled the whole thing. So, well. Probably going to slow the spread of my channel, but the nice thing, I guess, is since we're small at 28 subscribers at the moment, we're going below the radar. I don't think I'm really something that they're really looking for too much. Okay, if you like these videos, please give me a like and subscribe and pass this on to other people through other means than, I guess, Parler now. So I do post these always on Twitter, but I don't seem to get many followers from Twitter. If any of you actually join my site from seeing a posting on Twitter, please make a comment. I'd like to know how many people are doing that, because I'll probably have to be posting more on Twitter now, just because, well, that's what I've got left. I do have about 250 some followers on Twitter, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's the big news. I think the big tech crackdown on free speech. I will say this: that I never saw anything like they're claiming on Parler. In the old days in Gab, before the tragedy in Pittsburgh, I did see a bunch of anti-Semites and stuff on Gab at one time, and they were run offline, and they came back. And since then, I haven't seen that there. So I don't know. I don't like anti-Semites naturally, because I'm very pro-Israel. But at any rate, and of course it's ridiculous stuff. But let's don't get into that. But I'm just saying that that's. What can I say? But I'm just saying I never saw in Parler anything like that at all to speak of. I mean, really. So I think they're just making stuff up as an excuse to suppress people that really don't agree with the liberal agenda. Okay, so let's get on with kind of where we are right now. Nancy Pelosi, in a brilliant move, showed she was a complete jerk on 60 Minutes, as we saw, and I've seen the excerpts, and well, I won't say any more about it, just to say that I guess she managed to convince the stock market to take a little tumble overnight there, huh? She's going to move forward to impeaching President Trump, which, of course, won't actually materialize into anything until he's actually out of office, which sounds like a really bizarre move. And I doubt that they're going to be able to get a conviction either, particularly if they don't have the trial until he's out of office. Then the motivations, I think, are a little less. It'll just be a chance for rhinos to show who they are, and real conservatives to show who they are. I mean, and that few idealistic people in the middle that have to take a stand one way, but really are really okay people otherwise, will probably show up too. It's a divisive thing, and it's ridiculous, since he's going to be out of office anyhow, and he's already conceded, or whatever you want to call it. He doesn't seem to be in any. I think he gave up the fight to retain office with that speech he made a 2-day on, I guess it was Friday, Thursday night, I forget which, but anyway, end of last week. So, but what's also interesting about Trump is he's really gone silent. And we don't know really what he's thinking. The only people that know what he's thinking is the New York Times, that knows he regrets making his concession speech or whatever. I don't know how they know that. They're telepathic. I don't know. They read inside his mind. But anyhow, that's what they did. So that's kind of where we are right now. We have a 50-50 Senate at the moment. I don't know. it looks like Joe Manchin is again in a power position where he's 1 minute demanding that Trump be taken off of social media, and the next minute he's saying he's not going to end the filibuster or whatever. So we don't know where he's going to go, and I guess the future of the country is going to depend a lot on where he does go. Um, I mean, you can't do all those really destructive things I've been talking about since I've been making these videos unless he or unless you actually get all 50 Democrats and Kamala Harris to vote that way. And so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. This is what I'm calling the year of living dangerously, making a kind of a reference to the movie from 1985 with Mel Gibson that was about the situation, 20 years earlier with the fall of Sukarno in Indonesia, but kind of a joke there. But I think this is kind of going to be a year of living dangerously politically, because we really don't know what's going to happen. Some really bad things are possible, and it's also possible we might just squeak by. It's hard to know. If we just won one of those Senate races in Georgia, it would be a lot more comfortable. Let's put that. Both of them quite a bit more comfortable. As it is, I'm sure that a lot of people blaming Trump for that, and I'm kind of 50-50 on that myself. On the one hand, I can see that Trump was so focused on saving his second term, which he failed to do in dramatic fashion, that would have not been better after, the final Supreme Court decision on the Texas lawsuit and the certification on December the 14th, the electoral vote. Why not just cash in that at the time and focus on, trying to save those 2 Senate seats and put himself in position potentially to run again in 2024. On the other hand, I would argue that if Trump gave up, that might so dispirit a lot of the Republican base that it might have even been a bigger loss in Georgia than it was. I mean, I'm not sure the psychology of this. I mean, then we had the Lynn Wood, Sidney Powell clique going, "Don't vote." Don't vote? That's the solution to the problem of voter fraud, is to don't vote. That would definitely solve the problem. But at any rate, so so I'm not sure that if Trump had given up much earlier, would that not have just dispirited everybody to the point that we'd have lost even bigger? I mean, the Democrats were really jazzed at that point, and they had their eyes on the prize, and all the cheating that they had in place before was there this time as well, whatever amount that was. And the fact is, they did do about 4%. Basically, both sides fell off more than they had in the general election, but the Republicans fell off 4% more than the Democrats did. So that's kind of how that turned out. So I don't know. It looks like that's kind of a situation. So now that's why I say we're kind of in a tight situation here. On the good side, on the impeachment of Trump, is that, of course, the Senate doesn't come back into play until January the 19th, and the Democrats don't take control until the afternoon of the 20th, when Kamala Harris is sworn in as vice president. And as of this time, on the morning of Monday, January the 11th, the elections in Georgia have not been certified yet, and the 2 new Democrats haven't been sworn in yet either, all of which has to happen before they can take control of the Senate. So the fact is, the impeachment vote can't really happen, I don't believe, until after Trump's out of office. And so that'll be kind of a kick in his rear on the way out if they actually do a post-election impeachment. I also don't know if that's even constitutional. You could conceivably have a Supreme Court case challenging the outcome of that. I don't know if the court would take that either, but that's something that would be down the line if they do it. But my bet is that, we got a couple of very moderate, Toomey has nothing to lose. He's not going to run for re-election, so he can be as rhino as he wants to be. And I guess, and McCloskey obviously doesn't like Trump anyhow. So there'll probably be a few other hangers-on that'll vote for conviction. But I don't think they're going to get to the 2/3 majority. And so the result is it'll probably be another failed impeachment attempt, really, in terms of actually getting a conviction. And so Trump will still be a live situation, so to speak. Banned from social media. Although, interesting enough, he has the White House website, but he isn't posting anything on that either. He hasn't come on and had an interview with a friendly person on Fox or Newsmax or OAN either. I mean, there's many vehicles that you could walk out and do a press conference. Well, there'd be a lot of yelling and screaming, but he hasn't done that either. So Trump has been incredibly quiet after this. So I think we're kind of waiting to see what he actually ultimately does. I mean, that's going to be kind of kind of a situation to look for. And so I don't know how long. I will continue to try to pursue these videos, but I won't be able to get quite the following I was having because I think a lot of new people are coming in through Parler, and so I don't. We'll see how things works with the remaining assets on Twitter and just through the YouTube channel itself and random things. So again, any like would be helpful, and we'll kind of continue to follow this. One thing I would like to point out before I quit here. In a way, an impeachment trial could potentially be to the Republicans' advantage because of the following thought: if they actually spend the first 2 weeks of Biden's 100 days impeaching Trump and then failing to do it, that means that there'll be a delay in getting his cabinet officers appointed and getting down to work on his legislative agenda to save our climate. So. To me, this is really stupid, but of course, this is Nancy Pelosi, who is really not a rational human being, in my opinion. You might almost say that she's the Democrat counterpart to the worst of, at any rate. Let's just put it this way, that this will be interesting to see what happens. I mean, but we are in a bad situation, and a lot of bad things can still happen. So I'll sign off for now and wait to see what develops and get back with you.